Good morning and welcome to today's presentation. And today I'm going to make a presentation for assessment number 5 of the Level 3 award in education and training. And the particular assessment criteria are A 1.4, 2.1, 2.2 and B 1.1, 1.3, 2.3 and 2.4. Probably last about 10 to 15 minutes, and I'm just going to discuss all of the different questions posed in those assessment criteria. And the first one is, how can you maintain a safe and supportive environment for learners? So firstly here, our learners tend to be adults. Now, they might have had a poor experience at school or college, so we need to recognise that and treat them as adults, but also take some care to check that they've got a drink, they've got a tea or a coffee or water, they're in a quiet environment, free from disturbances or distractions, which is really important when we're delivering online and our learners may be in their own home or workplace. So one of the areas we can help them to feel calm and relaxed is to schedule regular breaks so that they can make another drink, they can stretch their legs, deal with their own comfort factors, and if necessary, deal with any issues that have emerged. Learners also need to feel that it's safe for them to ask questions and raise any issues, and that they're able to discuss this without any repercussions. And also, if they are challenged, then we should ensure that they're not going to feel that they're going to be given some contrary views, which if there are other learners in the room, could sort of make them feel like they're being bullied. So an initial icebreaker can help with this, because it can help learners to say hello, have a brief introduction with each other, and enable them to feel immediately that they are in a supportive environment, and that in fact they may receive some peer feedback from others in the room who share similar experiences, so that can help them feel supported. So in summary, this is about recognising any out of the classroom issues or experiences that they might be facing before or after the session, making sure that they feel supported through our language, through the ground rules, which I'll come on to in a moment, and also that we are able to give signposting to other areas of support, or can give them one-to-one support ourselves. And this all really aligns quite neatly with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So we're dealing with the bottom layer first to make sure that they have a comfort and they are in the right environment for themselves. Another area, particularly important if you're delivering funded training, but it's a good behaviour nevertheless, is make sure that we're covering aspects of safeguarding. That's another area where we can help people to feel that they're in a safe and supportive environment. So in essence, all learners should feel safe from physical abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse, other things such as honour-based abuse, bullying, discrimination, neglect and sexual exploitation, radicalisation, and more emerging issues in 2020 have been the mental health and anxiety and stress issues. So we need to be aware of any early signs, any abnormal behaviour in others, so that we can spot those signs. But learners also need to know who to contact, how to contact the designated safeguarding lead, and they should feel comfortable and confident raising the issue with us, and that it will actually be followed up. Of course, another area for maintaining a safe and supportive learning environment is health and safety itself. So this is where it's our duty of care to make sure our learners know where there's help should they need it. For example, a first aider, who that person is, how they should contact them. Also, make sure that they know how to exit a training room safely and calmly, and where to meet in the event of an evacuation. We need to let them know who that responsible person is, and if they have any concerns about anything in the training room, that they feel comfortable to raise it. Another question here on the assessment criteria is, why is it important to promote appropriate behaviour and respect for others? So here, well, it doesn't really matter what level of learners you have or how many you have in a session. Everyone should feel that they're being treated appropriately and with respect. So by that I mean having empathy for others, having regard for somebody's feelings, their rights, their beliefs, their wishes. It'll relate back in many ways to their own personal values, maybe a consequence of how they were brought up, their religion, their beliefs, their faith, or their personal values. And at its heart, respect means seeing things from other people's point of view and valuing other people's contribution. So it indicates an acceptance that other people's points of view may be different, but also they may be valuable as a contribution. And most learners value sincere feedback, positive comments. That's in our gift. So good behaviour is to give positive feedback to others in the room, particularly if it's added something to your own learning and experience through a diverse learning group. There may be other things that people are sharing with you hadn't considered. Another aspect here is trainers, and trainers deserve respect as well for the experiences that they could be sharing, and also all of our trainers welcome a healthy debate. So again, giving feedback but respectfully is important, and productive conflict can be healthy for everyone. It gives a good ability for people to share their different points of view. It might help overcome blind spots for some people, but everything really should be delivered sensitively and within context. So how can you establish ground rules with your learners? There is probably a couple of schools of thought here about ground rules, and particularly if you're dealing with adult trainers. However, a common thread for our learners, who are all adults, is that there are potential distractions between work, family and study issues. So they can only feel calm and comfortable in the training room if they know what the balance of the session is going to be. So by that I mean setting the ground rules of when they're going to have breaks to check their mobile phone or their emails or deal with anything that could be emerging, could even be a family issue, when they can expect a refreshment break, and how to, as I've said, how to exit the building, the timings, where they're going to find the resources, if they're going to be given copies of slides, how they might access additional support. It really sets the tone for the training session. It gives them an idea of what's going to happen during that training session. And if there are diverse opinions or people from different backgrounds, it just sets a common tone really for the flavour of how they should behave appropriately. But it also helps to eliminate that distraction because they know that they're going to be able to grab a drink or check emails. So it makes the training as effective as it possibly can be, so that everybody has equal ability to benefit from the session. It's useful, I think, to agree these verbally at the start of a session, and even engage everyone in the setting of those ground rules, so that we can perhaps jot them down on a flip chart or on a whiteboard, so that those that want to just check again can see it written down. Those that like to hear it have obviously had that expressed verbally. And you're appealing to the different learning styles of the different learners there as well. Talking of learning styles, why is it important to identify and meet individual learner needs? Well, ultimately, the why is we want to make sure that all our learners have equal and fair chance to benefit from the learning that they're about to receive. So an initial assessment is going to confirm the learner's current knowledge, their skills, their behaviours, and that's going to help to reaffirm that they're on the right course, at the right level and at the right time. It's also going to help us recognise any prior learning, so what do they know already, so that the trainer can make sure that they're designing the right course with the right materials to suit the audience, and build an appropriate learning plan. And it's also going to help identify any learning support needs and any health issues that could potentially make the training experience difficult for the learner. It's going to help the trainer to build an appropriate assessment plan to suit those individual needs of the learner, and really ultimately make sure that everything is fair, inclusive, safe. It's going to make sure that the trainer is able to identify any aspects of their scheme of work that needs to be amended or adapted for each individual learner so that they feel safe, valued, included, and have equal opportunity to benefit from that training session. So why is it important to provide learners with opportunities to develop their maths, English, and IT skills? Again, when we're dealing with adult learners, they could have been in a totally different headspace and a different environment when they were at school. So even their grades at maths and English may not be representative of what they know now, their current knowledge and their skills. Certainly if they're embarking on a funded programme, there is a requirement that everybody has to have English, maths and IT at, say, level 2. And for many adult learners, it can also be a prerequisite for a job application that they're about to make. So this could be really important for their future career progression. For the learners we're dealing with as they climb the career ladder and maybe have to produce reports or give key trends and monitor KPIs, then it's going to prevent any unnecessary embarrassment for them, and there may be areas that they just need to polish and brush up on those skills. So I've mentioned that funding bodies are going to insist that level 2, for example, is a mandatory requirement for any programme that's level 3 or upwards. And for the learner who's going through a level 3 programme, it could really help unlock barriers for them to their career progression that might have been there present from the age 16. They may welcome that chance to polish those skills, but also the training does need to be pragmatic and appropriate to their role. And examples of things, of activities that you could include here is they could be doing research on an iPad or through a PC laptop that's going to help with their understanding of IT skills. Keeping a learning journal is going to make sure that their English skills are practiced, but also maybe if they're doing it electronically, their Microsoft Word skills could be enhanced here. If they're mapping their evidence to a matrix, then they're going to be using some Excel skills. Making a video or audio recording is also going to help them with their technology. Typing up summaries of information, naturally they're going to be using their English and any mathematical equations in there. So there's plenty of opportunity in any course, and it is going to help learners to be more confident in the workplace, to take on more responsibilities in the workplace, to feel that they're comfortable with presenting reports to more senior people and hopefully progress their career. So the features then, what are the features of inclusive teaching and learning? So this really involves the trainers using a range of strategies to teach and assess the learners. So our tutors need to recognise equality, diversity and inclusion and take account of specific learner needs, as I mentioned a moment ago. So they need to plan to facilitate a range of activities so that all learning styles are catered for. A variety of assessment methods can be used to enable the learner to select the most appropriate method for them. And it could be also about whether the learner has that opportunity to come up with some of the demands of the assessment plan. So trainers need to always keep in mind the parameters such as equal opportunity, any potential barriers, any challenges our learners might face. Make sure that the activity is engaging for the learner, which could be different between different learners. Make sure that active learning is taking place, that people are participating, they're engaged. Make sure that the plan and scheme of work is very learner-centric, and use their varied teaching styles as well, so that they're appealing to the different learning styles. So they really must, at the heart, make sure that they are taking a differentiated approach when it comes to anyone that's got specific learning needs. So how can we engage and motivate learners? So here then, learners can be engaged through being involved in the design of their learning programme, in order to see that their specific needs have been taken into account. They could be encouraged to make a plan with a personal development plan with some smart objectives to reflect what are their own development needs, what are the opportunities, and how they see the assessment of different activities being suited to them in their role at that time. The trainer or the learning provider should monitor the progress that they're making, give feedback, which is going to give people early signs of where they've done well, maybe how they could do better, give positive feedback, and they'll be able to see that the progress they're making and that learning's taken place. But overall, they need to have a mix of assessment methods. So we're needing to include summative assessments so they can see that they're making formal progress towards a qualification. But they also need to receive the feedback in a formative assessment method, which is encouraging but developmental, highlights any areas for improvement, so that also they understand their next steps. And often that's best communicated through a one-to-one with that learner. Thinking about one-to-ones, a best practice we found that helps is if they know the people that are available, who can connect with them, what the roles are of those different people, how to reach them, so that again they feel supported and they know that they can ask for help, so therefore they're motivated to continue with their learning programme. So hopefully there I've covered all of those assessment criteria in this short presentation for the Level 3 award in education and training.